సోషల్ మీడియాలో హల్చల్ అవుతుంది పబ్లు ఫోటో సోషల్ మీడియాలో హల్చల్ అవుతుంది.
So good evening, everyone. Can you please let me know in the chat box if my audio, video, everything is perfect? Sorry for the delay in starting the session. There was a technical error. So I'm just waiting for your comments in the chat box to see if my audio and video is perfect. All right. So let's start off the session, and whatever query you are having, please feel free to ask in the chat box. And if you are seeing this video after the session, you can either personally inbox me or you can drop a message in the comment section. So let's start off. So today is July 16th. We are nearly 45 days away from the NEET SS 2022 exam. And in this session of around 30 minutes, I am planning to give you a strategy for your preparation. Okay. So as all of you know, the NEET SS 2022 exam is going to be held in the 1st and 2nd of September. So as per the new group pattern, so as far as the medical group is concerned, the exam will be in the 2nd of September in the morning shift from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Now, I'm sure that many of you will be having different sort of questions. So what I have decided is that already some candidates after announcement of exam dates have asked me certain questions. So I think certain questions in that list will be queries that many candidates will be having. So I'll try to address those questions, and this will be in a question answer format, where I'll be starting off with the queries that are already asked to me by various candidates preparing for the exam. And subsequently, what I'll do is I'll take the questions from the comment section of the chat as well. Okay. All right. So the first question is, many students have a doubt. Okay, this is the first time that is, the new group pattern is there. 150 questions. So suppose you are attending medical group, whichever specialty you are targeting, whether it is cardio, neuro, nephro, all this, you will be getting the same question paper of 150 questions. So 150 questions is the number of questions. Now, coming to the question paper, see, even the previous exam that was conducted was as per the old pattern, which means, okay, we are going to have a new pattern. So what is the query everyone will have? What sort of a question paper can you expect? Well, let me tell you one thing. I have written an exam while I was writing the DM entrance exam. I have written an exam which consisted only of the medicine questions. Okay, which means all 100 questions. It was not 150, it was 100. It is after that the pattern again changed to the 60-40. So let me share with you my experiences. Well, in that question paper of 100 questions, majority of the questions were related to Harrison, either directly or indirectly. Were there questions outside Harrison? Yes, but that is expected. Any super specialty level question paper will have. But let me tell you, a good number of questions were either directly or indirectly from Harrison. So I want to share with you a second point on my thoughts for the question paper. See, years back, maybe not years back, say just one exam back, many a times I have noticed that the NEET exam question paper was more factual. Okay, we had very short stem factual question papers, even for the exam that I wrote. Okay, so even for the exam that I wrote, it was factual questions mainly. But if you see the previous NEET SS question paper, though it was according to the 60-40 pattern, still it was surprising to see more number of clinical questions, more number of image-based questions. So I think this probably might be an indicator that there is a chance that you might get a good number of clinical questions as well. But let me tell you, there is always an element of unpredictability. Because if you look at the NEET SS exam papers, you will find that in one particular paper, the question paper is more factual. The second paper, the question paper is more clinical, then maybe a mix. So always there is an element of unpredictability. So if you are a candidate seriously preparing for the exam, I think you have to have a good range. By range, I mean, suppose if it is a question paper which is tilted towards the factual side, you must be able to handle. Suppose if it is a question paper tilted towards more the clinical side, you should be able to handle. So this is very, very important. So in this slide, you can see that, you will have clinical scenario questions, you will have factual questions, you will have image-based questions. And I said there is always an element of unpredictability on the number of clinical versus factual or image. But if I was in your place, so when I actually do the session for you, let me tell you, I do not claim to be an expert, who can predict what sort of questions, but I can tell you as a senior who has given the exam, who has seen the question paper pattern changes. So I have always felt one thing. See, whatever be the exam pattern, whether it is more clinical or more factual, your focus in these last 45 days should be on rank deciding topics. What did I say? Rank deciding topics. Now, what is meant by that? Last 45 days, rather than focusing on topics which have least probability of being asked, focus on topics which you would have asked if you were the examiner. See, I'm sure that you giving the exam, you are already experienced, you have given your NEET PG exam, and you have had good training in your medicine residency, or maybe if you have done maybe a pediatric residency. So the training is there, you know what sort of questions you can expect. So you just decide for yourself, okay, what are the important areas? Even in my lectures also, I have highlighted, okay, these topics are very important. But still, if you have not attended the lectures and if you have gone for a test and discussion or maybe a question bank one, you at least, you can have a gut feeling, okay, these topics are likely to be important. So the bottom line of this slide is last 45 days, rather than going haywire A to Z of Harrison, maximum focus should be on rank deciding topics. Rank deciding topics. Only thing is that the question will either be a clinical one or a factual one. Okay, fine. All right. Second, some students have asked, sir, I have not read super specialty textbooks. All I have is some knowledge of Harrison. I have 45 days remaining. Should I go through the super specialty textbooks? My answer is, it is not a must. However, if time permits, please go through the high yielding top tables. Now, in the DocTutorials lectures, all the faculties have stressed upon what are the high yielding tables. Even in my entire medicine lectures, I have highlighted all these high yielding tables. However, suppose if you have not watched the lectures, in that case, if you have the liberty of time, please go through certain high yield tables. Like suppose in case of neurology, the table on ataxia, the spinocerebellar ataxias in Bradley is a high yielding one. And most often you will get a question based on that. So focus on high yield tables only. Okay. But that again, if time permits, I will not say it is a must. But then if you ask me, sir, but still in an exam, which is at the, for a super specialty, don't you think there is a chance that they might ask a question from Fihali or a Brunner or maybe a Schlesinger? See, there is always a chance. I definitely agree with that. But when you go and write an exam with 150 question paper medicine, there will be certain questions, but I think the maximum focus should be Harrison and related ones. There is a chance that others might be asked. Yes, if you are aiming for a top rank, you should definitely go through it. But the probability of a question being either directly or indirectly related to Harrison is more. Okay, because we are having a different group pattern. So that is what I want to tell you. Now, if you look at, as a continuation of the same question, if you look at this particular screenshot from the prospectus, you can see they have mentioned, see, this year, the examination will be a group-based examination, and the examination paper will consist of questions from only the broad specialty feeder. So for medical group, the broad specialty feeder is general medicine. And they go on to say that, unlike last year, where each candidate, could write an exam where 60% of questions were from super specialty. That is, if you're writing neurology or cardiology, that specialty, and 40% from the feeder broad specialty. That's the general medicine. So they have categorically stated 150 questions will be from the feeder broad specialty. So more chance, let's take it probability wise. more chance is that the exam is either directly or indirectly related to Harrison. What do I mean by indirectly? Because a clinical scenario. For example, you have got moya disease in Harrison. They may give you a clinical scenario of a moya disease. They may give you a clinical scenario of a lupus nephritis. So expect some sort of a clinical questions as well. Okay. All right. So I hope I have answered that question on super specialty textbooks. Now, the next question is, I have read Harrison reasonably well for my MD or DNB exams, but I have not done enough MCQs. How should I proceed? Okay, how should I proceed? Now, see, I'm sure that there will be a good number of students in this category who have given their MD exams now. So they have read Harrison for their MD exams primarily, but not given enough MCQ practice. Now, remember, MCQ practice is important. It's important that in the remaining 45 days, you give yourself enough match practice. So what you can do is, if you look at the DocTutorials Q bank, in the Q bank, if you see, I'm just showing you the snapshot of the Q bank. If you see the medical group, you can see general medicine fundamentals and general medicine super specialties. I hope you're able to see that. In this, the general medicine fundamentals, all these questions will be from Harrison, either directly or indirectly related to Harrison. Whereas the general medicine in the super specialties, that one is from the super specialty textbook. Now, considering that you have only 45 days left, well, in that case, focus on that part, general medicine fundamentals, because all those questions are from Harrison. Okay, so I think it is important to go through at least the fundamentals part. It is very good if you can go through super specialties, but at least the fundamentals you should be thorough, because I think that is more important in the context of the current NEET SS exam. Okay, so practice questions from the fundamental section of the Q bank. Now, I'll tell you one thing I always used to do when I was solving a Q bank. I don't mean a grand test, a Q bank. So some candidates, I know that they will sit at a stretch and solve 60 questions from a Q bank and then go through the explanations. Some candidates will not do like that. They'll attempt one question, go through the explanation, attempt one question, go through the explanation. My personal suggestion is, which I have found to be successful, is you solve 5 to 10 questions at a stretch while solving a Q bank. So what I used to do was, if there is a Q bank, I will first solve 5 questions or maybe 10 questions at a stretch, and in a paper I'll write 1A, 2C, 3D, 4B, 5C. And I'll just quickly evaluate and I say I got 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. It's a small mini test assessment. So what it gives you is that it helps you to retain focus for those 5 questions. Well, for a complete exam practice, you will have to write grand test. I'll be coming to that. But rather than attempting single question, going to explanation, it will be ideal if you go to 5 to 10 questions. What is the problem if you attempt 60 questions at a stretch and then go for the explanation? Is, you might lose the mood. You might have started off with some question, then go to some other question. So when you come to the explanation part, you might be a bit bored. But this one, I think, always gave me that kick also to practice questions, because, okay, after 5 to 10 questions, I go to the explanations, then come back to the next question. So I feel that strategy has worked for me, and that is a good strategy. Now, always remember, you only have 45 days left. So when you solve question banks, a human tendency is there for too much lateral reading. Lateral reading means, you go for, okay, you have read, you're practicing a question on myocardial infarction. You want to, okay, why not read about ventricular arrhythmias now? I forgot certain points. Well, immediate lateral reading was okay, but too much lateral reading will divert your focus from your targets. Because in these 45 days, you have got to give yourself targets. Because medicine, when you give an exam, even if you are given 3 months for preparation, 1 year for preparation, or even 5 years for preparation, I don't think anyone can go to the exam hall very confident saying that I have done entire medicine. It's not possible. You, me, everyone will be anxious. Just think of your final MD or DNB exams. In spite of learning the subject for 3 years, you still would be anxious, right, on the questions. So you will always have that feeling of incompleteness. I've not read this, that. It's okay. Remember, it's not a theory exam, it is an MCQ practice. So whatever you have done through the residency, it might actually help you. So, but in these last 45 days, maximum coverage of topics, that is very important. There is not too much time for too much lateral reading. That is very, very important. Shivani, I'll take your question definitely after the, I finish up with these questions. I've definitely seen that question. Okay. All right. Next, everyone would have this question: how important is going through Harrison 21st edition? Now, let me tell you, Harrison 20th edition came in 2018. And obviously, there has been certain advances over these few years. But let me tell you, in the video lectures that we have, whatever I have taken is not just based on Harrison. My lectures are always based on Harrison, starting from very basics. Plus, I have gone through the recent guidelines. So whether it be neuro, cardio, nephro, endo, whatever it is, I have always tried to quote the recent guidelines at the time of shooting the video. So even in the video lectures, though the Harrison 21st has come, see, we have discussed all these points even in the videos itself. Okay. But if you ask me, sir, still I want to just quickly go through the Harrison 21st edition. Now here also you should prioritize. Now in my reading of 21st edition, I've had a good read through the 21st edition. What I understood is that a good majority of the topics remain the same. It's just a cut, copy, paste, but there are certain changes. So if you are planning to go through quickly through Harrison, the focus should be on 3 areas. Number 1 is the newer management guidelines. Number 2 is on the newer drug approvals. And number 3 is on the newer trials. But even that, let me tell you, we have covered it in the lectures. But still, if you want to go through Harrison, don't waste your time going through the theory, fundamental stuff that you have already read. The focus should be on these areas. Okay, I hope it is very clear for you. Next question, where to practice image-based questions from? Well, this is covered in the image-based grant test. We have covered the image-based grant test in the DocTutorials test series. Number 2, I'm sure majority of you have heard of the elite exams. I'm sure many of you have given it also, of the elite exams conducted by DocTutorials, where each super specialty faculty specifically have put questions. So in these questions also, we have put a good number of image-based questions. So I think that is much enough for your image practice. Next, I have done MD or DNB in pediatrics. How is my chance in the medical group? First point, it depends on your effort and dedication. Yes, you are at a definite disadvantage compared to the medicine residents, no doubt about it. However, we have seen that with effort, with sincere effort and dedication, many of them, say from a pediatric background, has done exceedingly well, and some have topped as well in the entrance exams. Like I can say, for example, last time in neurology, the 3rd rank, I think Aishwarya Raj, she is from a pediatric background, but she was very hardworking, very sincere, and very focused. So though, I still remember in the interview that I had with her, she used to tell me one thing. So when she used to study these topics from, say, cases which she has not seen, obviously the adult cases, she would imagine a scenario and then prepare accordingly. So while watching the lectures or studying, you have got to have that imagination as well, so that you are able to answer it properly. Okay. And to help you in the DocTutorials question bank, you have enough number of clinical scenario-based questions. Especially if you go through the elite exams, you will find lots and lots of image-based questions. So if you have done your MD or DNB from another subject, whether it be pediatrics or now say pathology, anesthesia background, because if you are planning, and from anesthesia, if you're planning a critical care, you will have to give the medical group, or hematology, if you're planning, you have to give the medical group as far as a pathologist is concerned. So what I want to tell you is that effort, your focus and dedication is most important. Okay. Now, next query, I selected the course with video lectures. I have not completed all of the video lectures. What should I do? Should I go for the video lectures and complete it? Should I stick on with whatever I have done? Well, If the videos that you have missed are rank deciding, for example, management of stroke, management of myocardial infarction, say systemic lupus erythematosus, rheumatoid arthritis. So rank deciding questions, I think, or hepatitis B. Now, these are rank deciding topics. Now, if you have missed these rank deciding topics, you have to finish it off within the next 1 week, max 10 days. You don't want to postpone it towards the end where you will be stressed out seeing the topics that you have got to complete. And if you still do not have time to finish all the video lectures, do not miss the Elite test and discussion sessions. In the DocTutorials app, you have the videos as well of the Elite test and discussion. If you see, you can see the screenshots. In the medical group, in the app, if you take test and discussion, if you go for medical group, you can see the Elite test and discussion videos are there. Now, if you ask me, sir, what is, how is this going to be useful, these videos? Let me tell you, each of these videos, like neuro, cardio, the corresponding super specialty faculty has discussed. So Kamal sir will be discussing cardiology, Dr. Vivek will be discussing nephro, so Dr. Karthik endocrine, Dr. Nias for infectious diseases, so Dr. Prashant Gandhi sir for medical gastroenterology, for medical oncology, Hemant sir and Vijay sir. So they will be discussing the questions. So while they discuss a single question, they'll be giving you the possible other questions as well. So I have discussed neurology also. So whatever questions we are discussing are having a high probability of being asked. And we have also included questions from the super specialty textbooks, but which are likely to be asked. For example, there will be some questions, say a question on brain death. Brain death, the question is not well given in case of, say, your Harrison textbook, but we have actually covered it as a part of the Elite test and discussion. So I think it will be highly beneficial if you can go through the discussion videos of the Elite exam. So it will be high yielding. Okay. Now, how important are solving grand test at this time? I would definitely vouch for grand test. Please let me tell you, many will have a tendency. I have lots and lots of portions to complete. I don't want to give grand test. I want to spare that time or save that time for studying more topics. Please remember, sitting in front of a screen and writing 150 questions at a stretch, where one question will be from rheumat, one question will be from endocrine, then cardio, neuro, nephro, to have a continuous focus with questions coming in succession, I think is an art. Because if you don't do the GTs, I'll tell you as a student perspective, I'll tell you my own perspective. I've always felt in exams where I have not given enough grand test, when I go to the exam hall, I am more likely to make careless mistakes. And after every exam, we come out and we say, oh, this question, I knew it. Oh, this question, I thought it as all except. So this oohs and ahs, you can reduce significantly if you give yourself adequate match practice. So give yourself enough grand test. And if you see in the DocTutorials app, there are so much grand test available. You can have enough practice. So please give the grand test. And when you give the grand test, please give it in an exam atmosphere. It's not like, I remember I told you while solving a Q bank, go for 5 to 10 questions at a stretch. But for grand test, you keep this dangerous weapon, your mobile aside, then you give yourself a proper exam atmosphere and then solve the grand test. Okay. Next, how important are Elite exams? Well, if you see the test series section, this is a test series section. You can see surgical GT, medical GT, surgical Elite, medical Elite. Medical Elite, you will see a lot of exams. So these exams are very, very important. Primarily, one, they are high yield. And second, they are questions handpicked by the faculties. So neurology, all the questions I have put, cardiology, Kamal sir, and so on. So remember, these exams are very, very high yield and you do not want to miss these Elite exams. So you've already conducted the Elite exam, but suppose you are joining the course now, please go through the questions of the Elite exam. Even the discussion video of the Elite exam is uploaded in the app. So I think, life will be a lot easier. Okay, so these are my, some of the questions that many candidates have asked me. Let me take your queries. So Shivani Singh is asking, now more focus should be on doing questions or theory and how to divide time between this. I'll tell you. Now the answer to Shivani's question, how much time for theory, how much time for MCQ? See, I have always felt near to an exam. Say you are just 45 days from the exam. So 45 days to the exam, I feel that in a day, at least 40% of the time, suppose you're studying, 60% you can devote for revising your notes, and 40% of the time you can go for practicing MCQ. However, if you are a candidate who reads reasonably well, but you have always had the feeling, see, I read well, I go for exhaustive reading, but somehow MCQ exams doesn't look like my cup of coffee. I always tend to make careless mistakes. So how to avoid that? So if you are such sort of a candidate, I would advise increasing the time for practicing MCQs. Maybe you can make it to 50% or even 60%. So this variability is because the strength and weakness of each candidate appearing for the exam might be different. So what I want to tell you is at least 40%, but you can increase the number of MCQs depending on, or the time for the MCQs, depending on how strong or weak you are in your MCQ solving. Okay, so I hope you're clear with that, Dr. Shivani. Those who are having doubts, please feel free to ask me in the comment section. Question by Anusha, what would be the approximate division of mark for the specialties? Okay, so Anusha has asked a very relevant question. So she's asking, so we have got cardio, neuro, nephro. So what will be the division of marks? See, I'll tell you one thing. First of all, in the prospectus, they have not made a definite mention. But obviously, if you take common logic, the topics like cardio and neuro definitely will be having a slight upper hand over the other specialties. So it is not going to be an equal subdivision. Yes, there might be relatively less number of questions from certain topics, which I assume maybe hemat, infectious disease, might have lesser number of questions, but who knows, the examiner might take you by surprise. But I am just telling based on probability. Means I will expect, if I am a candidate preparing for exams, I know that I cannot just go to the exam hall without going through these big subjects like cardio and neuro. That is likely to form a good number of topics. So what I want to tell you is the basic funda is do not leave too many topics from big subjects like cardio, neuro, maybe nephro. So those please do not leave. And even if you are planning to skip topics, do not skip topics which are apparently rank deciding. See, you are a professional, you have done your training, so you know, okay, I know this topic is very important because you have been trained well, you know, okay, this topic is important. So please do not skip rank deciding topics. So Anusha, the answer is for your question on the approximate division is not in prospectus, but as in even your NEET PG exam, certain topics like cardio, neuro, maybe nephro, bit of pulmo, these are most high yielding and likely to have more questions. Okay. Yeah. So Mehek Trahan. So you're saying that what about statistics? Can we expect questions from it as well? Well, statistics, most often the exam that I gave, statistics was asked. Many a times you get questions from statistics, usually 2 questions, sometimes 4 questions. There have been exams where you have got 0 questions as well. But in case, you are having, some weakness in your statistics, definitely, I think, I'll request our PSM faculty also. Dr. Rajasi Madam is there because last time in the NEET SS exam also and INISS, Madam did a session exclusively for you guys on the probable questions which are likely to be asked from the medical statistics. So just let us know if you want such a session. You can comment in the chat box as well if you need such a session. if a good number of students need a session, definitely we will be considering that. Okay, conducting an exam. Okay, all right. So, so after seeing the answers of the dentist doing it. Okay, so Shivani is asking a question. Though she has actually gone through the grant test, do we need to revise again? So suppose if I give a grant test, probably what Shivani is asking, how do I analyze the grant test and how much time should I devote for it? Please understand that this again depends on how much portions you have got to cover. See, suppose if you have to cover a good ground, you don't have time for too much lateral reading. For example, there should not be a scenario where you have done well in cardio, neuro, nephro, yes, but you have not at all touched rheumatology. It should not be like that. You should have time to go through the high yield rank deciding areas of all subjects. That should be a must. Okay, that should be a must. So what I am telling you is, each candidate, depending on the time you have and the ground that you have got to clear, you know, okay, I'm a bit weak in nephro, I'm a bit weak in pulmo. So depending on that, you know, please adjust your time accordingly. And if you have not covered a few systems, because I got a few messages today, sir, I have not covered endocrine or I have not covered certain topics. In that case, please finish those topics first. Don't leave it till the end. Because if you leave it till the end, you know, you might be under a bit more pressure. So you want to make life easier, especially in the last couple of weeks leading to the exam. Okay. So next question by Sriram. I'm a radiation oncology candidate. I have no base of Harrison. How should I? So Sriram is actually from a radiation oncology background. So first of all, Sriram, in case the first option is you can go through my lectures. I have covered entire Harrison there. Suppose you tell, sir, you know, there are so many videos, but how to go about this in the last 45 days? See, before beginning each system, what you can do is, you know, you have my number, I suppose, my WhatsApp number I'll be sharing after this. You can just text me, sir, what are the high yield topics that I should cover from cardio or nephro or neuro? I'll be happy to help you. So that at least those videos, which are the rank deciding topics, please listen to that. This is very important because Sriram, I will not advise you like, Sriram, do one thing, just practice some questions and go for the exam. Because I think you have to have some basis, like for example, certain topics like treatment of myocardial infarction, stroke. I think you have got to go through the videos as well to get a base. You cannot just get it by solving some random MCQs alone. Okay. So one question by Rahul, how important is the trials? Trials are very, very important. Trials are very, very important. I think, you know, there will be questions in the exam that I gave. I have got questions from trials, but I accept that there have been exams where there is zero question from trials, but at least very important trials. For example, trials on antiplatelets, anticoagulants in stroke, some trials, important trials in related to a drug approval. So I think these trials you have to focus. For example, if it is neurology, you know, the DAWN trial and diffuse 3 trial is very important, and there is always a very high probability. If I was the examiner, I'll definitely put a question on DAWN trial or diffuse 3 trial. So, and also the antiplatelet related trials, anticoagulant related trials, the RELI trial, all of them I've highlighted in my lectures as well. Those trials are also very, very important. Okay. So I think you should definitely go through some of the trials. Abhishek, you want to have a topics of PSM. We'll try to do a quick rapid fire session also. Let me just have a word with the management as well as Rajasi madam, so that I know that you don't have time to read too much of PSM. So if you want to have a concise session, we'll be definitely thinking of that. Okay. All right. Then should we focus on pediatric topics as well? Anand is asking. Anand, absolutely no need of focusing on pediatric because you are going to write a medical group exam. So just focus on the medicine part. That's it. Mehak, yeah, we'll definitely consider a session on statistics. Yes, definitely. Yes. So that's about the questions. Now, second, many candidates actually ask me, sir, lots of topics to cover. How to go about it, because you have answered, okay, these are the topics, but I want a direction. Now for that, what we are trying to do in DocTutorials is we are going to do a quick revision program from 1st August. Now you might ask me, sir, why 1st August? This is 16 July, start from tomorrow. Na? So the problem is, I know that certain candidates will be there who are yet to complete certain topics. Like, so I have not done pulmonology, certain topics, or I have got some topics to cover from rheumatology. So there will be some lacunae. So the time you have from 16th July to the 1st August, what you should do is that you should finish whatever pending topics you have or whatever lacunae you have in that time. Okay. And very soon we'll be coming out with the timetable of the quick revision program. Now you might ask me, what is quick revision program? And sir, do you think that me attending a quick revision program, a new resource, 1 month leading to the exam will help you? First of all, the title is a revision program. It's not like we are going to focus on, say, very tough questions, nothing like that. This is almost like a recap session, because we totally understand as a candidate, it might not be possible for you to go through the entire topic, sometimes maybe the entire video lectures also. So we'll be just highlighting points like that. So the aim of the quick revision program, number one, is to have maximum coverage of topics in a minimal time. For example, for neurology, I will be taking 2 QRPs, Kamal sir for cardiology, Dr. Veg for nephrology, two topics. So you will have 2 sessions by each faculty on a corresponding subject, and each session will be around 2 to 3 hours. In that 2 hours, it's not going to be a tough topic discussion. We are just trying to make things simple for you. Quick revision format, just the points, no elaborate discussion, just the high strike rate questions, high strike rate points. So we are going to do that quick revision program. Now, the second thing is, you might ask me, sir, how to best use the QRP sessions. Remember, the QRP sessions, please remember, keep a QRP session as your target while you are revising. For example, suppose if the first QRP is neurology. So I am going to take neurology QRP. Just a quick rapid fire point recollection of the entire neurology. So in this QRP session, you make sure before my QRP session, the timetable of the QRP sessions will be out in a few days' time. Till then, you finish your rest of the topics. So in that QRP session, we highlight just the points. So especially certain candidates like Sriram, you said you are from a radiation oncology background. So what you can do is, if you look at these QRP sessions, whatever I feel have the highest probability of being asked, I'll focus only on that. I'm not going to cover difficult questions alone. Highest probability of being asked on each chapter, I'm going to just highlight important trials, everything I'm going to highlight. So that is number one. So what does a QRP help you? Number one, it helps in maximum coverage of topics in a short time. Second is, it gives you a target, because it tells you, okay, I've got this session by Dr. Rahul on, say, August 2 or 3, this session by Kamal sir on August 4. So I should finish cardiology before that date. So it gives you targets. So in next few days, you're going to get that targets. Because see, I feel if you look at the DocTutorials toppers over the last couple of years, if you look at the videos, majority of the toppers, they always used to highlight, out of all the the resources that they had in doc, I think Elite exam series was highly beneficial. Why? Because we used to give them a definite timetable. Okay, this day there is an exam, this day there is an exam. Because I am totally aware that at your age, okay, we are not in a position to concentrate too much or focus too much like we used to do many years back. So it's difficult to get that focus. So I think these QRP sessions, first of all, will give you targets. I have to finish this before the QRP session. It gives you targets and it keeps you in a good pace. Otherwise, what will happen? When you read something, you will have a tendency for lateral reading. So it helps you to stay in focus. Second, the third goal of the QRP session is, after every QRP session, there will be an exam. So after neurology QRP sessions, the 2 QRP session, there will be an exam on neurology where, it gives you a opportunity to write the subject wise test, because already you have prepared the topic just before the QRP session. You attended the QRP session. Fine. That's it. You write the exam also. So that will be the perfect way to revise in the last 1 month. So don't think it is a new revise. It is a revision or a recap session. I tell you, this is going to be very, very important, because we have just made a decision that we are just going to focus on the high strike rate points and not just, very tough questions. Okay. So this is how you should utilize the QRP session. Okay. So Sridhar is asking, what is the status of the court case? Is the pattern fixed? Well, we have got the pattern announced, and even for the radiology and oncology candidates also, they are eligible to attend. So as of now, I think, this 150 question pattern I feel is going to stay, because even in the last court case also, they, made a statement that next exam onwards, they can go for the 150 question. Even the court said, for this session, let it go for 60-40. After that, you conduct 150. So I think it is going to be the 150 itself. Okay. So Parvati is asking, can the test and discussion subscribers attend the QRP session? Well, this QRP session is only for subscribers who have gone for the video course. It's not for the test series section, QBank test series. It is for video course. But I totally understand that, many candidates will be telling, I've just got a couple of months, so I cannot afford a 1-year plan for studying for such a short duration. So what there is a 3 months plan. If you see the videos, QBank and test series, there is a 3 months plan, which is definitely going to help you for the NEET SS as well as the INI. NEET SS as well as INI, this is definitely going to help you. So there is a 3-month plan available. There is a 3-month plan available. And for those who are having query on how to join that, I'll just tell you in a short while about the contact details. But this probably is going to help you, because, and there is also an option of upgrading to the QRP package. That is, if you have selected TND, I think the management team might soon share at least in a day or two on how to join. They are also providing, I think, to the best of my knowledge, an option to upgrade. So suppose if there is someone in a test and discussion course, you can upgrade to the including the QRP as well. And for those who have not joined at all for DocTutorials, I think this would be an ideal plan. That is for the 3 months plan. Otherwise, I think the best thing will be you can upgrade to the the elite exams, the quick revision program. Also, there will be a provision for upgradation. Okay. All right. Probability. Samir is asking, what is the probability of the exam being postponed because of the court case? See, what I feel is, do not think too much about things that you cannot control. Because I'll tell you one thing, even for the NEET PG also, I'll tell you something that happened very recently. For NEET PG also, many candidates were expecting postponement. Yes, the exam was postponed multiple times. And finally, also, they were thinking that, okay, there is some other court case happening, there will be a postponement. But the postponement did not happen. What I feel is the exam is most likely to happen on that same date. And just focus on that. Even if the exam is delayed, in the unlikely possibility, even if the exam is delayed, you get some more days to study. That's it. So please, as of now, don't even think of this word postponement. I have got the date, medical group, September 2nd, morning session. I have got to prepare myself for it. And I am going to focus, entirely on the exam. Okay. All right. So yeah, Shivani, definitely we will try to make that upgrade plan. I think already the management has decided on that. Don't worry, because we totally understand that, it's not possible practically to go for a 1 year or so. So definitely there will be a provision for that. Let's see that. Okay. So let me just, if there are no other queries, let me just try to sum up whatever I have said so far. Now, these are the summary points. Okay. First of all, prioritize your resources. Like resources may be video lectures, QBank, test series, Harrison, super specialty textbook. If you are someone who is not at all prepared, pretty new, 45 days, in that case, I think, just focus on basic topics as well as the QRP sessions. Okay, that is important. You cannot go after super specialty books. Video lectures, please do not miss on the high yield topics. Now, at least some of you will be asking, sir, when it comes to super specialty level, what about the difficulty level of the questions? Please let me remind you a very important point. In SS exam, you can even get very simple questions. Silliest of silliest questions also you can expect. You might actually look at that question and say, is this really a super specialty entrance exam? I think personally, such questions also should be asked on basic fundamentals. One mistake that can happen to you is, see, you might prepare very well. You might go for the high funda questions, so much of tables from super specialty. They might ask you a basic question on the difference between obstructive and restrictive lung disease. See, even that basic question can come. So let's not be overconfident. Let's try to go for the basics as well, at least a quick recap, because even you can have such a question also, because if you make a mistake in such sort of questions, it is going to cost you badly. So what I want to tell you is, do not neglect on the simple questions. Okay. So video, QBank, test series, Harrison, whatever is the resource that you have done so far, with the time remaining of 45 days, try to plan. Now, if you ask me, what should you be doing in the last 2 weeks? So last 2 weeks, as I'm not telling you as a faculty, what I always used to do was, I always wanted to keep my confidence level high. So what I will do is, I will not go for too much of new topics during the last 2 weeks. Even if I go for topic, only some part of the day I'll be reading new topics. I'll try to convince myself and go through the topics that I've already learned quickly to boost my confidence as well. Because in exam, confidence is also very important. If you think too much negative, because something that can happen to you is, you're thinking negative. Okay, I have got so much to cover, just September, 1st. Actually, I was going in a rhythm, but suddenly the exam pattern, so much of confusions. So I don't think I'll be able to do it. Please remove all the negativity. I understand that you were confused with all these exam pattern dramas happening, but if you are confused, everyone else writing the exam will be confused, including me. Okay. Because if I was in your state as well, it's difficult to focus when you do not know when is the exam date. You are not very sure on the pattern. So many things going around. It's difficult to focus. I understand. But if you absorb all the negativity, thinking that I will not be able to do well, then it will affect your confidence. Now, a good confidence is always required, because when you solve questions, having a good clarity, an open mind, a clear mind will help you solve questions, especially clinical scenario questions. Don't think that an entrance exam is solved just based on data that is loaded on your head. No, to think properly, you have to have a clear mind. So don't overburden yourself. See, let me convince all of you that there are good number of seats available in majority of the super specialties. I agree that certain super specialty seats are less, but a good number of super specialties, there are adequate seats. So don't think that I will not be able to attain. Even let me tell you, if you are not very well prepared, you give your best. You give your best in the remaining 45 days, you still stand a chance, because there are good number of seats available for majority of the super specialty subjects. But always remember, last 45 days, it's about prioritizing your resources. Now, I'm sure that so one question by Anand is, QRP session will include topics of infectious disease, medical oncology. Well, definitely yes. Infectious disease, Dr. Nia Sir will be taking. He has done DM from AIMS Delhi. Dr. Shinto Sir will be taking hematology, clinical hematology. He has done hematology from SDPGI. So definitely yes, every subject QRP will be there. Pulmonology, Dr. Nawaz Sir will be taking. He is a pulmonologist in KIMS Hyderabad. So Dr. Karthik for endocrinology. He's the national TISA winner, the Torrent Young Scholar Award winner for endocrinology. So every faculty will be taking. Don't worry, you will have infectious disease also, and 2 sessions will be there. So whatever is important, especially with monkeypox, COVID, whatever is important, maybe a change in the HIV guidelines. So whatever is most important, point by point, definitely you will have a discussion. Okay. And a bare minimum of 8 hours effective you have to give for studies. Now, at least some of you will be asking me, sir, is 8 hours needed? Some of you will be asking me, only 8 hours. Well, I said minimum. I said effective hours. Effective hours means, see, suppose if you are learning, you are in front of the, your book or app or whatever it is. If you are actually distracted by frequent messages, maybe phone calls, it is not effective study. So I think at this age of yours, focus is the challenge, because we all have other things also in life, but for the next 45 days, you have to get into a shell. You have to go for your studies, stay focused. Nothing else should bother you. Okay, nothing else should bother you. So bare minimum of 8 effective hours per day. Please avoid distractions from social media and stick to your timetable. Suppose you are going by Elite. In a few days, Elite exam timetable will be out. And if you see the previous results, I'm not just saying because I am associated with DocTutorials. I'm very honest here. You can look at the videos of the toppers as well. Elite exams, the rank list of the Elite exams almost is similar to the rank list in the actual exams. Or Elite exams means the exams that we are conducting. So which means the candidates who are seriously preparing for the exam, seriously preparing. I'm not saying that everyone who's going to attend attend the SS exam is attending the doc exams, but majority, I'm sure over 95% of candidates who are seriously preparing for SS will give the exams that we are actually conducting. Like, for example, the quick revision session and the exam. So you will get an idea where you stand. So this is very, very important to assess yourself where you stand. This is very helpful. So please write the exam that follows the Elite exams as Elite, the QRP session as well. Now, this is my WhatsApp and Telegram number, 9447334944. Please feel free to ask me your queries on your preparation. If you have any other last queries, please feel free to ask me in the comment box. But let me tell you one more thing. Just one more thing before I wind up. I have just made active my NEET SS group. It's a WhatsApp group. I've just started posting some questions based on Harrison. In the upcoming weeks, every faculty, SS faculty of DocTutorials, we will be firing you with small questions, one-liners from Harrison 21st edition. So what you can do is, if you have not joined my WhatsApp group, please just send me a message in my Telegram or WhatsApp. I'll be sending you the link to join. From there, you can join, we'll be sharing the link of the corresponding super specialty faculties as well. So what we are going to see is the next 45 days in that group also, we are going to tell you, or we are going to discuss with you the most important points. We'll be discussing maybe MCQs, maybe one-liners, some voice messages, high-yield topics. But we'll try to make sure that we are having a good coverage of Harrison. Because see, I am not telling you that, I'm going to teach you entire neurology in the next 45 days, but whatever is most important, high yield, high probability of being asked, that we are going to cover. So make sure you join this WhatsApp group. Please make sure you attend the QRP sessions. Okay. So if you have in a test series, you can upgrade. Otherwise, you can go for the 3 months plan where you can upgrade. But if anyone watching the video is targeting the upcoming NEET SS exam, not the coming one, then you can go for the longer plans. But this is what I want to tell you. Okay, so all the best. Remember, it's all about putting hard work. So just let me tell you one thing. Last point. If I was in your place yesterday on seeing this sudden exam notification, I would be a bit nervous. Okay, I've got 45 days. I'll first strategize myself. Secondly, I would remove all negativity. I would avoid phone calls, to have unnecessary discussion on exams, whatever it is. And I'll tell my family also, I've got a very important exam coming up. So I need to focus for the next 1.5 months. So please don't bother me for anything in this 1.5 months. And while studying also, I'll always have that smile in my face because I don't want to overburden myself with expectation. Ultimately, it's an exam. It's just an exam. Even if you don't get it, who knows, you might get an INI. I have seen many candidates who were devastated after NEET SS. After that, they go on to get INI top rank and they are in central institutes. I personally know many such candidates. So please try to reassure yourself. Tell that, let me try to do my best. And if you have any further queries, suppose you are watching this video later in YouTube, I will always be there to help you. Please send me a message or voice message. Sometimes, I might miss the message. I might be busy with certain things. Please send me a reminder message because I get lots of messages since I am teaching candidates for not only NEET SS, even for NEET PG and even FMG as well. So lots of messages I do receive. So if for some reason I am not able to see a message, you can just send a reminder message as well. Okay. So that's it. Hope the session was beneficial. Whatever remaining doubts you have, let's discuss it and let's start with the rapid fire discussions in the respective WhatsApp groups of the faculties. Let's try to have our best shot. Okay. Thank you all for joining. All the best for the exams. And if you have any doubt on joining the courses, these are the contact numbers of the DocTutorials customer support. So please note down these numbers. And this video will be there in YouTube. So you can watch it later if you have just joined late. So this will be there in YouTube. You please share this video also to candidates who might find this beneficial, your friends, or if there is some group where you have candidates preparing for your exam. So they might find it beneficial because I've answered many of the questions. So please contact the customer support and all the best for the exam. If you work hard, if you really want to do well, definitely the next 45 days, you are going to prepare well. All the best for the exam. Thank you very much. Okay.